Good morning. It's good to be back with you this morning, focusing on our devotional out of the book of James. Just going to focus on one verse this morning. James chapter 5, verse 12 tells us this. Above all, James says, hey, notice this. Above all, pay attention. My brothers and sisters, do not swear, either by heaven or by earth or with any other oath, but let your yes be yes and your no mean no, so that you won't fall under judgment. And what an interesting verse that James uses here. Actually pulling it from Jesus out of the Sermon on the Mount. Jesus says the exact same thing. But what does it mean? Does it mean that we can't take an oath or make a promise ever? Does it mean that we can't sit on the witness stand and make an oath on the Bible to swear and tell all the truth? Does it mean that elected officials who are Christians shouldn't swear when they're elected in or make oaths when they're elected in? Or what about even like debt? Can we take out debt, making a promise that we're going to pay it back? What does it mean that we can't make an oath? No, I don't think that's what it's talking about at all. I think it's absolutely fine to make an oath in that manner. But I think there is some question here that has to be applied through the Holy Spirit in our lives and the conviction of the Holy Spirit in our lives. I think there are promises that we shouldn't make. I think there's intents of our heart. Let me put it this way. The heart of the matter is the matter of the heart, especially when it comes to making a promise. I think what James is doing here is what Jesus was doing there is two things. I think number one is this. That James is saying, hey, live your life in a way that doesn't have to be put into question. Live your life in a way that people don't have to question whether your yes is yes or your no is no. Live your life in a way that you're walking in integrity, that your life isn't in question. The idea of living a life of truthfulness, being a man or a woman of his or her word, practicing what you preach, being the person that you're displaying to be. Don't be one person behind the scenes and sort of compose yourself as something else. Don't be a different person behind closed doors, but be somebody of a character that your life isn't in question. But also, it's not only a lifestyle question. I think there is an aspect of making an oath or a promise through our speech or through our actions for one purpose, and that is this, that you are not in control. How could you promise something that you're not in control of? Now, there are things in which you can do and be in control of, but there are things that you're not in control of, that are in the hands of the sovereign God. And so how is it that you could make a promise or you can make an oath when you yourself aren't even in control of those things? But living our life in a way of trusting that God is in control, that we don't have to be, and we don't have to put on the image that we are. We just don't have to make the promise. And so living our lives in a way that display who God is, living our lives in a way that are Christ-like, proclaiming who He is, but also not allowing others to question us. That we're living in a way that's above reproach, that our lives are faithful, living out the good news and the teachings of Jesus. Hey, church, listen, we love you. We're praying for you. We'll see you in the morning.